Yo, what's going on, you guys? And welcome back to our show. We talk pretty much anything, especially everything that's going on in the NBA. And so far, we're about 4 to 6 games, depending on which team you follow, into the NBA season. And man, we have a ton of overreactions. And with that being said, we're going to be talking about all these overreactions. So, my guy, Shaman, you want to take it away from here?
Yeah, definitely. So we're definitely going to be covering, our reactions so far in the NBA regarding like the team's performance, very specifically like player interactions. Well, a few things that we definitely wanted to highlight were the Lakers less than stellar start, the Sixers pretty milquetoast start, and then my Nets not doing so hot right now. So that's basically what we're trying to cover. So yeah, the Lakers, man, they're it's not looking too good for them right now. Like I don't know how they're gonna perform like over the next like few like months because they have no 3-point shooting of any kind. And like I could literally go on for 6 hours about this, but I would rather not. Yeah.
They're just not good. Like they're the worst 3-point shooting team. The worst, and their defense is pretty decent. Like I think they're like middle of the pack or something. They're like 10th or something, top 10. They're decent, but the real problem is the shooting. Like at this point, Westbrook's not even a problem. It's just the shooting. If you guys know what I mean.
Westbrook was never the problem. I mean, in a way, I guess he was. But if you look at it last
He was
season,
part
he
of the
just got
problem.
he definitely because he can't shoot. But that's not his fault. He was never a shooter. Lakers knew what they were getting in Westbrook.
No, I agree. I think
Mhm.
majority of the fault should go on Rob Pelinka because first of all, AD he could shoot, really not a shooter. LeBron he could shoot, really not a shooter. Westbrook not even a shooter. Okay, like if you have those three players, your top three players, allegedly,
Okay.
you should surround them with shooters. So he picked up people on off season that were just like I saw it somewhere. I don't know who said this. It could be on like one of the sports shows, but someone said this is like a younger version of the old last year's team, just like a
Okay.
younger, and which is I feel like that's true.
But you blame this on Rob Pelinka, and of course he's the GM, so he's gonna get the blame. But
Yeah.
who is the actual GM of the team? Come on, we all know.
No,
The GM.
of course. That's
No,
true.
no, I definitely agree with you guys because, who's the one that wanted Westbrook on the team? Who's the one that pushed for that
for
team?
sure, LeBron. For
Exactly.
Sure, LeBron.
So you have nobody else to blame other than LeBron. And I guess you can say Pelinka for not really surrounding them with talent. I mean, when LeBron's out there dribbling and AD's hurt, who does he have to pass to that's going to shoot a three? It's going to be Westbrook and like Austin Reeves. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Patrick Beverly.
Their best 3-point shooter is a guy named Matt Ryan.
Hey, Aray, no, one sec. Aray, weren't you saying before the season began, Pat Bev, great shooter? How's he doing so far?
All right, it's been a slow start to them, but like hold on. I didn't say he was a like an amazing shooter, but over the past few years, he's been like a high 30%, 40% shooter. So I mean, he's still good. Hey man, I think it has to do with more the construction of the team because he's probably the only guy outside of 80s rim protection that actually plays defense. You know what I mean? So when Beverly's that like number 2 or number 3 guy on offense, man, that's not what you want to see from a team. You know what I mean? And I know we're talking overreactions over here, and we have every right to overreact to the first few games, but it really does look like the Lakers suck. I thought previously they might have a chance at the play-in tournament, but after 0-5 start, I don't know. What do you guys think?
When are they gonna get their first dub? That's my question.
Baby stuff.
It should have been like 2 games ago. Realistically.
Yeah.
2 games ago?
Yeah.
Who would have played 2 games ago?
I think they played
Nuggets?
No, before the Nuggets. I mean, like the game right after Nuggets. Like Nuggets, I thought they were gonna lose. They should have beat Minnesota last night. Personally, I think they should have.
I mean, I don't really.
Anthony Day-to-Day Davis played maybe.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about that Portland game. When they were up like 2-3 in the last minute or
Portland.
so.
That was the team. That was a game before Nuggets. They should have won that game.
Yeah, no, easily. You got Westbrook going 2 for 1 in the last minute when they're up 1. I don't really think that's
His response was the most something thing I've ever. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's just like whenever I think of 2 for 1, I think of when you're down or like halftime, or like in the first, second, or third quarter. I've never heard anybody say 2 for 1 in the fourth quarter. So yeah, that was tough.
Yeah, I kind of have a few to say about this, like Lakers team. Like, it's hard to find a root cause analysis for them simply because like their offensive scheme based off of the personnel they have available. Like, how do you the GM brought them in, whatever, but it should be up to the coaching staffs to give them some form of offensive scheme that works for them. But like, who do you really point the finger at? Is it the coaching that's at fault, or was it the GM, or was it the ownership that's at fault for making this thing like happen and having the coaching staff and everything work for it? And it almost seems like this team it's out of time. Like, it's out of its time. Like, I feel like this team would have been absolutely filthy back in like the early 90s or even the 2000s, where you just have lots of slashers and lots of inside scoring. But if you don't have a 3-point shooting in the current league, like, screw the play-in tournament. You're gonna be battling for the 15th seed.
No, I feel you. The thing is, the blame, I don't think it should go on coaching because look, Darvin in the first 6 games, they're like I said, their defense is like, I won't say top tier. I'll just say like up there, like above average defense. So coaching is doing their job, but you can't really coach shooting. Like, some players can shoot, some just can't, So like,
Well,
this is why I revert to Rob Pelinka, and then like you suggested LeBron James. Like, yeah, LeBron has a huge. I feel like 1/3 should go to Rob Pelinka, 1/3 goes to LeBron, and the other third goes to just like Westbrook and just the team they have. Just personally.
It just doesn't work. It sells tickets, but it doesn't amount to success.
See,
And then, like you
If
said, oh, go ahead.
Nah, I was just gonna say, if I'm being honest, like, I don't know why Lakers are even a topic of discussion at this point. They should be like the Kings. No one should even talk about them. They're just such a pointless team right now. Like, we know where they're headed. They're going to be a lottery team, it seems like. So,
But they can't
yeah.
even be a lottery team. That's the thing. They have no picks to be a lottery team.
Yeah, so that's going back on the GM. I mean, you're making that trade to get Anthony Davis, and yeah, they did win a championship, but it kind of also screwed over the future because as of now, there is no future.
Mickey Mouse fans.
Oh man.
Okay, look. Me personally, just throughout the summer, just hearing about like potential Westbrook trades or potential trades in general. And then it was just all I heard was like the Lakers has been to trade the 27th and 29th. The 2027 and 2029 picks, right? First round picks. But at this point, like, it's like, bro, that's like 5 years away. Like, you already lost all your picks. Your best bet to stay relevant in the league right now is hoping you get decent role players in the draft and trying to get stars.
I disagree with you. I think their best bet is to trade AD, trade Westbrook, trade LeBron, get as many assets as they could. They just need to rebuild because they're not headed anywhere. They can bring as much role players as they want. It's not going to help them.
No, I agree. That's another route they could take, which is, I think, the Utah Jazz, the way of doing it. That's how they went about it. But no, you're right. Like, you would just trade all of them and just get picks and rebuild. Honestly, as a Laker fan, personally, I'd rather see that than have AD for the next 5 years or however long he's going to stay.
So going back to the blame,
Kendrick Perkins was saying AD for MVP. Man, what a joke!
What a joke.
Well, going back to the whole whose blame it is, you also got to blame a little bit LeBron over here because if he hadn't signed his extension so late into the offseason, he would have became tradable. But because he signed it so late and because of all those rules that the NBA has, he can't be traded. So that's kind of like another loss. You're paying this guy that much. you have to think that LeBron has to lead this team in scoring or assists or playmaking. But what's around him is just so bad that they're scoring. They're 30th in the NBA in points scored, 30th in field goal percentage, 30th in 3-point percentage, and 30th in 3-point shots made. Like
That's just horrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's like ridiculous. Like you can't do anything with what you have, and they're in such a hard place because if they try to trade Westbrook, he's made such a negative impact on his team that you're gonna have to give up something to be able to trade. You're gonna have to give up like a first pick or another good young player, which the Lakers don't even have a good young player to trade away to get rid of Westbrook. Same thing with
Austin Reeves.
yeah, I mean that's the best they can do. Like, let's be honest, man. Austin Reeves, is he even worth a second round pick at this point? But yeah, I don't know. It's such a tough place for the Lakers to
He's a
be.
good role player.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But it's kind of like, why would somebody want to take on Westbrook's contract? Which, yeah, I know there's 1 year left, but just to get Austin Reeves.
No, I agree. It doesn't make sense. They need something to do. They need to figure something out. They need to figure out a trade. I heard the Pacers trade still in the air. I heard a Gordon Hayward trade, but I don't know how legit that is. But I had a question. Apologize for my lack of knowledge, but how long is LeBron untradeable for?
For this season,
For the season. Okay, so next season he's tradable.
I believe that's correct.
Okay. Yeah, just
Okay.
wanted to know.
All right. Well, I don't want to look like the meme of like, the old man yelling at clouds. So let's just move on. Let's discuss the Sixers. I got James Harden on my team, so he's doing pretty okay. But honestly, I don't know much more about them aside from the fact that he's been killing it from a fantasy team.
James Harden has been looking like the old James Harden. So that's a good thing. The Sixers, I personally just think they had a bad start. And I think they had like 2 wins in a row, something like that, maybe. So I could see them, like turning it around.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree to that. I think everybody in the beginning of the season, like the offseason, thought that the Sixers were, they had a good potential to be one of those Eastern Conference Finals teams, a team that would make a deep playoff run. But with what we're getting with James Harden, I know like he looks great. He looks like the MVP Harden, but I don't think that's a winning formula. I mean, it might have worked with the Rockets, but this team isn't that same team. I mean, you don't really have the same amount of 3-point shooters. Like, yeah, you have Daniel House, but he sucks. That's the same player that they had. They also had PJ Tucker on that Rockets team, but he's not the same. He's like 38 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different. Like when you have somebody as capable as Embiid, you shouldn't be able to, or you shouldn't just have James Harden running your offense. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel like a winning formula with this specific team. And it's something that's kind of, I don't want to say outdated because it was only a few years ago that it almost worked until, Harden kind of choked it off. But I just don't believe that this is like a winning formula team. I still believe that they're going to make playoffs and they're going to be fine, but I don't think it's going to be like a winning formula team. What do you guys think?
I think
I disagree, but go ahead, Shaw.
I'll be quick about this then. I just think, what do you call this? Specifically, this might be a coaching problem, but that's about it. That's all I have to say. You go ahead.
Yeah, so definitely they had a slow start. And to say this formula isn't going to work, I disagree with that just because James Harden is looking amazing. Joel Embiid, we know how amazing of a center he is. Top 3 center, definitely. And then we're all forgetting Tyrese Maxey. This guy just dropped, 44 points, 9 of 12 3-point shooting last night. This guy is an absolute monster. It's just the team is trying to figure out, who's going to handle the ball, who's going to get touches. And I think they're just trying to figure things out. And yeah, maybe coaching is to blame a little bit because they're taking much longer to figure it out. But if they can, get it all working, all functioning together, make some ball movement instead of like ISO plays with James Harden, I think they definitely have championship potential because James Harden is an amazing player. He can definitely take over the game whenever he wants. And we've seen that, I believe, in the the Bucks game or was it the Celtics game? But he definitely, and then look, Joel Embiid just needs to be more assertive. He needs to get into the paint, get the ball, and if they can just work together, I think the team is set for a good run.
Here's my position on it, and I agree with you like a bit. So look, and I agree with Shaman too. I think he's just a new coach. Like realistically, like Doc Rivers, really good coach. He has a good NBA resume, but like, don't you think he's a little outdated? Like just look at his resume. Like how many games, like how many crucial games in the playoff has he lost? Like I just don't think he's a coach for today's generation, personally. And then not even that, the reason why I think the Sixers just had a bad start, and I think they're gonna be fine, is because like that James Harden has been James Harden. He's been good. He's been playing good. Joel Embiid is Joel Embiid. He was in the MVP race last year. One thing I'll say about him is like what Noor said. Yeah, he has been more aggressive in the paint. Like he takes a lot of jump shots for his size. Like a lot of jump shots, and like he makes some, but like he just got to be more aggressive. And then like if you just look back, like the reason why I give the Sixers a chance is because the best duo, like just in NBA history, has been like a good shooting guard or a good guard or a forward and a big, like Shaq and Kobe, like Shaq and Wade, like Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Ginobili, like stuff like that, like you need a good big. Like if you have a good big and a good guard, you're like a championship team. Like you could be a potential be a championship team. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, like I said, like Noor said, Maxi's literally an all-star caliber player already. They have Harris too. Yeah, their 3-point like role player 3-point shooting has dropped, but the starting five is basically everybody in the starting five. I don't know who the fourth person who starts. So I mean the fifth person. I know it's
Tobias.
No, Tobias. So I know it's Harden, Maxey, Tobias, and B. So is the other one Tybal? Is he the one who starts?
No, he actually hasn't been playing.
Okay.
So who's the fifth?
Yeah, who's the fifth? Who's the fifth person who starts with him?
I'm pretty sure it's PJ Tucker.
It is.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, and like your whole starting five can shoot. Like PJ Tucker, like corner threes, like that's what he's known for. So, like, with the lack of shooting in your bench, you make up for it in your starting five. But yeah, that's why I think the Sixers should be fine. But then again, it all depends on Harden and Embiid.
Yeah,
it's how they play.
It's definitely too early to tell. I feel like they're still trying to figure things out, and as the season progresses, we'll get a better understanding of what they actually can do. And yeah, I guess we'll see about the Sixers. But what about the Nets? Like, what's up with them? They're 1-4 right now, and they have so much potential. They have KD, Kyrie, and oh my God, they have Ben Simmons. I don't even know what's happening with Ben Simmons. I'm praying for my guy, but yeah, what's going on with the Nets?
Ben's numbers look good outside of shooting. Like outside of shooting, decent numbers. In the fouling, decent numbers. And honestly, the only straight up thing I could see is their defense. They lack in defense. I read a stat where it's like Ben Simmons is the 16th or the 25th worst defender in the league right now, like one-on-one defender. Royce O'Neal is the fourth worst defender in the league, and KD is leading the league. And I think he's the first worst defender or the second worst defender, like just off metrics. So like that should just tell you like their team, But sorry for taking up too much time, but yeah, I think their offense is there. It's just their defense.
Yeah, I'm personally, I think the Nets are going to be fine. If there's going to be one team that's going to be in the playing tournament, but also has the potential to be in the NBA Finals, it's definitely the Nets. They're such a hard team to read. On paper, they're absolutely stacked. I know this Ben Simmons is the Ben Simmons coming off an injury and that mental problem that he had, but other than that, he's a great player, rookie of the year, maybe 3 times in a row. No, this is a joke, but either way. Ben Simmons, I think he's a great player. He's a great defender, and hypothetically, he should be that great defending piece that will help their team with their defensive problems. We all know Kyrie and Katie can easily drop 50 apiece each. In one game, we've seen it a few times last season, even. But I feel like the problem with the Nets is, it's just a lot of different players not really being able to mesh with each other. We actually haven't seen Ben Simmons, Katie, and Kyrie play at all. This is the first time this season. And I think a lot of people are overreacting to them not being able to play together. And also, Ben Simmons is coming off that back injury, which, did sideline him for a year. We don't really know for sure if it was because of the mental problems or was it because of his back problems. But once he's healthy, he should be fine. Katie last year was coming off that injury. He didn't look great in the playoffs either. And, like once they're all healthy, I think they should be fine. Either way, I'm not too worried that this team is 1-4. Yeah, they lost a lot of easy games or even close games, but I think they should be fine. The one thing that I will overreact to, and it's kind of funny, is the other day I was thinking, wow, we're like 5 days into the season, and this dude Kyrie already said some stupid shit that basically is on the borderline of getting canceled. So there's an overreaction right there. Who knows if we'll blow up the team, if Steve Nash will get fired, or some crazy thing with Kyrie will happen where he sits out, or some other problems happen with Ben Simmons. It's just fun. The Nets team is so wishy-washy. We don't know what we'll get from them. And personally, I think they should be fine. What do you guys think? You guys think that they're going to be fine, or do you guys think that they're going to blow up? Kyrie's going to be out for the season for whatever problem, or Ben Simmons is not going to be Ben Simmons of the prior years. What do you guys think?
Narf, you can take this one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I definitely agree with you. They have the potential to be either a playing team or a championship contending team. They have the and they also have the I guess like role players too, like Royce O'Neal. He's been great. Seth Curry's been injured, but once he's back, he'll be great. Patty Mills, Nick Claxton is a great center, and he has a lot of potential. But I don't think we're overreacting with how the Nets are doing. I honestly think they're going to stick to being a play-in team just because, with Kyrie, this guy is consistently doing something to jeopardize his career and his paycheck, which I think his contracts are expiring this year. So I don't know why he's doing all that. Yeah, their defense. So I think Ben Simmons can definitely pick it back up, back to his former self. I don't think his injury was that bad that he can't get to that place. Like it wasn't like an Achilles tear or anything like that, like Klay Thompson. But yeah, that I just don't know what is about the team. When I watch their games, it's just they're all doing their own thing. Like Kevin Durant, like he's trying to just do whatever he can to get the win, but he's not involving his teammate. I don't see chemistry, and I think that's just going to be their ultimate downfall. Like, yeah, I just don't see much potential in them.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but again, this isn't the whole team. Joe Harris is just coming back after a year, and again, he hasn't played with these guys for much as well. Seth Curry still hasn't come back from last year, who again, he was traded to the Nets late last year. So he's another player that they'll have to mesh with. And again, they also got TJ Warren this offseason, and we know TJ Warren can be great. We know he can also be hurt. So we'll leave him as a question mark. But either way, this team is just a team that hasn't played together. So in a way, I do agree with you. But as the season goes and comes along, I think they should be fine. And yeah, you could argue that they probably might not mesh at the end of the season by the end of the season. But if they do, it's going to be one scary team, and I would not want to play them. Even as a Celtics fan last year, playing them, and yeah, they did get swept, but they were one scary fucking team. I'll tell you that. Every game was close, and we didn't know what we were going to get from KD or Kyrie. They could have dropped 50 a night easily, and they're just that team. They're so dynamic and scary, but we'll see if they get there. Yeah.
I mean, for better and for worse, and AJ, I know you had a point to make, but like I just want to say this: the Nets, for better and for worse, are the literal like manifestation of the phrase. Don't ever judge a book by its cover, because the Nets are a good cover. My God, like what the hell has been going on over the past like 2 years?
It's a competitive Eastern Conference. So if they don't pick their stuff up quickly, I think they're gonna fall back into that like bottom 4 seed or like 6 to 10 seed. And if that's the case, they're gonna have to probably go up against Bucks or Celtics again in the first round, and it's gonna be a repeat of last season in my opinion. And yeah, it just doesn't seem like, even if they had Ben Simmons last year, for example, and a healthy one too, I don't think they would have made much of a difference. Maybe won a game or two in that series against the Celtics. But yeah, I don't think they've made significant gains from last season to say that they're a championship contender.
I couldn't agree with you more if I tried.
Facts.
Okay, AJ, I think you had a point to make before I cut you off like 5 minutes ago.
No, I honestly agree with almost all you guys' points. Like, the Nets are just gonna be fine, Like, I'm not too worried about them. People don't understand it's an 82 game season, and like this goes even for like, I'll even go this far that this goes even for Westbrook. Like, it's gonna take some time to gel. Like,
No.
like I'm not Westbrook. I'm just saying, like, you could even use the same thing for Westbrook, like same argument, like for Simmons, like, what's the last time he played? Like last year in the playoffs, and he hasn't played since then. Like it's gonna take him some time getting under, like, getting his legs under him, and like some time with the team. But yeah, I think they'll be fine. Like, take the Celtics for last year, for example. Up until January, they were like, what, 24, 25 or something, like some average record. And then the second half of the season, or like since January, they were literally the best team in the league, like literally the best team. So, like I said, anything could happen. Like, things could change. It takes time, and yeah.
Man,
But yeah,
what you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? Bro, here's the thing. There's so many good teams this season, and there's so many new roster constructions, like the Hawks and Cavaliers. Like, all these teams definitely are figuring themselves out. So by the time Nets figure themselves out, all these other teams are going to figure themselves out. And if Nets don't pick it up, I'm sorry, they're not going to be able to compete with those teams, and they're going to remain in the bottom, like 6 to 10 seed. Like, so yeah, I definitely disagree with you on that one. There's too many good teams in the East. The schedule is going to be tough all season long. Sure, it's 82 games, but those 82 games are going to be tough. So unless they pick it up quickly, even if they pick it up in January, it's not going to be enough to catch up to the top 6.
And then to add on to that, I'm not saying they're a dark horse team for me. So basically, they're not top 4 in the East for me for championship contention, or like just finals contention, but they have potential to be. So like, I agree with you. They're not gonna figure it out and go like number 1 seed and be the favorites for the championship this year. But like, I think the lowest they could reach is a play-in, but I think their ceiling is like probably 4th or 5th seed. Personally.
And they're not going to hit that ceiling. They're not going to hit that potential.
But like I said, that's a ceiling. But
right,
I think
that ceiling.
But I think they're a playing team for sure.
That's a tall ceiling. I'm sorry, but yeah, they're
Fourth
not
or
going
fifth
nowhere.
seed?
I'm calling it right now. For hear from me right now. Raptors are going to be above them in the Eastern Conference seeding.
Raptors do look good though. OG Anunoby.
Oh yeah.
Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent.
Siakam, bro, that guy is playing for MVP this season. I'm telling you, Raptors going to be above Nets. Nets are going to fall, and then Raptors 2023 championship.
All right, let's play this quick game, right? So we're gonna talk about the teams that we already talked about, but we're gonna say we're either overreacting to them or not overreacting to them. So we'll start off with the Lakers. Are we overreacting? I'm overreacting. I think that they're gonna be trash.
Hell no, we're not overreacting.
I don't think we're overreacting.
We're justified.
We're justified. Exactly.
So you guys are all justified, and I'm overreacting. Can we agree on that?
Yeah,
sure.
Well, all right. We'll see how the season goes, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this Lakers team. What about the 76ers? Are you guys overreacting or not overreacting?
I think I'm justified for what I said.
Okay.
I feel like with them, I'm slightly overreacting because there's such a small sample size with them.
Okay.
But not really though. Like, they have almost exact same team as last year, So the sample size isn't small. We know they could work. It's just they're not working right now.
What about you, Narf? How do you feel about this year's 76ers?
Aray, I think you're overreacting to say they're not, contenders and they're out of style or whatever it is that you were saying, but definitely overreacting because Sixers definitely have the potential. And James Harden isn't the James Harden from last year. He's in shape. He's looking great, and they're definitely going to be up there.
I'll give him this. I have them higher than the Nets. That's all I'm going to say.
So for me personally, I'm overreacting a little bit. I do think that they're not going to be as great as everyone thought. Usually when a star gets hurt and hasn't been that good for the past 2 years, they typically don't have a crazy good season. Like this James Harden season is close to his MVP season, but I don't think that's sustainable. And I don't think that this Philly team is going to be like a top 3 contender in the East, even maybe a top 3, but not a top 2. But so I'm overreacting. And then can we also do a quick over under on how fast it takes for Doc Rivers to get fired? Do you guys think he's gonna get fired this season or not? I think he is.
I think he's about to.
Nah.
I think he is, personally.
No, definitely not. I think Daryl Morey wants some, like that last year team was all over the place. They just did a trade and there was a lot of moving parts last season. And I think they want some consistency this season and see how it goes along. And then, if it doesn't work out this year, maybe next year they'll consider firing him. But I think he's going to stay for the rest of the season just to have some, consistency on the team.
All right, so that's valid. So lastly, how do you guys feel about the Nets? Are we overreacting to them or are we not reacting to them? You want to go first, Shaman?
Yeah, I think we're overreacting to them.
Okay, it's valid. It's valid. What about you, AJ?
Yeah, I think personally we're overreacting. I'm overreacting. I'm basing it off Ben Simmons gelling with KD and Kyrie and then them picking up their defense, but that's an if. So yeah, I think I'm overreacting.
Sweet. Personally, I'm not gonna overreact to the start. I think that they're gonna be fine. I don't think that there will be a play-in team this year. I think they're gonna be better than that. If they do end up clicking, I do still think that they have a chance to become, a championship team. So that's just me personally. Anyways, that seems like it's going to be it for this week's podcast. This podcast, it's been fun. Appreciate you guys hopping on. We got to do this again sometime. And if you guys enjoyed us, we're going to be on pretty much any streaming platform. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you guys access your podcasts. We're also going to be on YouTube with some gameplay in the background if you guys prefer to watch it that way. Whatever it is, however you guys like to watch, we're going to be on there. So once again, thank you guys for listening and peace out. See you guys in the next episode.